Hey, Dave, what are we talking about on today's episode? Well, Patrick, today we talk about conflict in relationships and touch on alignment.
Hey guys, welcome back to Xar Podcast with Dave and Patrick. Thank you for joining us today. We're back here to teach you just a simple, practical, functional system, an antidote to other algorithms to the distractions. And today's topic will be discussing relationships skills, specifically within conflicts. So I know for myself in the past, I've learned a very uncomfortable lesson. I forgave myself for rejecting my needs and my standards and values to please others. And what this equated to is internal resentment. And when I rejected myself, like we said in one of the earlier podcasts, I ended up actually just projecting onto other people, which mostly people who are closest to me. And that's not fair, both to myself and to my previous partners. It's self-destructive. Dave, if you can you relate to some of this? Like in the past, like how did it feel when you were in a situation like that? Did you proud of your previous behavior, or did you feel you could have held yourself accountable a little bit more and there was room for improvement?
Oh, looking back at it now, I definitely know there's room for improvement in everything. But I know that I wish I could have handled things differently at the time. I didn't have the tools and I didn't have the strength then. I spent a lot of time, being belittled and just not standing up and having my standards and having my boundaries set.
Perfect, Dave. That's just it, right? It takes time, small, consistent steps. It's to build a quality relationship, this doesn't happen overnight. And one thing I've noticed is when it comes to effective listening skills in conflicts, this is one thing we really got to focus on. It takes work, you guys. You really just allow the person to finish speaking before interrupting or over talking. It's toxic. Instead, while they talk, just pause, you guys, reset, breathe slowly for emotional regulation. It's very critical. And just because of the speed of our emotions have a tendency to quickly overshadow the situation, and sometimes it brings out the worst, even in me. It's an active listening, effective listening skills are an active state. Never assume, I've had this recently in a previous relationship, never assume what someone else feels or thinks, but ask them, acknowledge them, ask them questions to seek mutual understanding for growth, you guys. So just be honest, respectful, and kind, authentic, or as some people might say, just be yourself. Set boundaries, non-negotiables if crossed. If they value you guys, your love, they will support your growth. If they blame, guilt, shame, or belittle, guess what? They're not in line with your goals, your standards. They're not the one. That's okay. Know your value. And just wish them well. Dave, yourself, what from the past and the things we've talked about in the episodes, we've learned some skills over our years and our experiences and our research. What things do you feel you could apply into the next relationship that will help evolve and create some growth within that relationship?
You know what? Looking at it, especially you just touched on it. You touched on the accusing. Don't assume, don't accuse, and it's huge because you've already made up your narrative, I think. And if you ask it, if you have it's creating open communication.
Great, Dave. And I'll just, if you can follow up on that, I'll just ask you as you're talking there, when you don't have that safe space, and whether it's us or them, when we overtalk each other, we get overreactive, we interrupt. Like, how does that make you feel?
It makes you feel small. It does. It puts you into a corner, I think, and you just kind of, you feel like you're in fight or flight almost. You just, listen to, and you don't want to fight because it's not what you want in a relationship, so you're shrinking, you're trying to fly, you're hiding.
Right? It's our emotions just have that speed, unfortunately, that drive just biologically. I think it's a survival technique. It wants to overtake us, and then, unfortunately, it sometimes relates to just being a little overreactive and sometimes saying things we aren't overly proud of. I'll just finish here on the last note. Our comfort zone, our old conditioning, you guys, just to remind the audience, sorry, you're not alone. I spent the last 22 years building a stepladder, really, just to exit my mental jail, psychologically speaking. I mean, I healed in silence for a number of years between these relationships, and I no longer fear abandonment or rejection. And I share this importance of space, you guys. space for healing, and not just jumping from one relationship to the next. Give yourself a little bit of time here. What's the rush? If you do not take that time to heal yourself and learn the lessons in reflection, guess what happens? You just repeat the same cycles. Congratulations. I guess you don't want to change. You have a choice. You can either be bitter and blame the other person or yourself, or you can learn the effective lessons and be better and improve the probability of you having a better, healthy relationship. That's really all I have to say today, guys. I don't know if you want anything to add, Dave.
You know what? Just make sure you know your worth, guys. Just make sure you're being respected. You know, without respect, there can't be love.
Exactly, and you know, like, with the conflict, people often, in these moments, sometimes, you know, when there's any awkwardness as well, silence, we use these filler words or preservatives. It's just garbage. Just be honest, get to the point, and just speak from the heart. You know, really. And if somebody, like I said earlier, if somebody really does respect you, they're going to be supportive of that. If they're not, and they use guilt, shame, whatever, you know, powers of manipulation, gaslighting, you know, you're too sensitive, what forth, right? Then, honestly, I say this to myself every day. They're not in line with my standards. I'll tell you that right now. I do not want a toxic relationship. I want to work on healthy relationships, healthy boundaries. That's it, folks. I just want to thank you very much. I want to thank my team. I want to thank Dave for all the hours behind the scenes that we don't see, and the work that he does on this podcast on editing. So thank you, Dave.
Well, thank you, Patrick.
And thank you to the audience. I just want to thank you guys so much for listening and giving me a platform to do this. I really do appreciate it. I'm grateful for you guys, and you're not alone. We will be back. I will do whatever I can to give you a simple, usable skill.
Remember, guys, we're in this together.
That's our show for today. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
See you next time. Goodbye.